In this video, I'm going to be taking a look at the first premium unit for the Greeks. I might do a review of most of the units in Arena after having played with them a bit. I don't want to just review a unit I haven't even used much. I'm going to, for some units that I don't have yet and that I won't get for a long time, I'm primarily going to be talking about them based on their stats, but for the units I've tried, I'm going to try to give a comprehensive review of what the unit can and cannot do. So I'm going to start out with the Myrmidons, and my first advice regarding the Myrmidons is do not get this unit. It's a tier 2 unit. You're not going to be staying at tier 2 for long. What's more is that if you look at the starting stats on the Myrmidons here, base morale 48, health 189, armor 131, visibility 125, melee attack 64, melee defense 66, weapon damage 158, 18 of that is AP, missile block 35, and the only ability that they have that is any good is defend, and it's not even that good. Now let's compare that to light hoplites. Light hoplites have 17 less armor. They have 1 higher melee attack actually. Their melee defense is lower by 6. Their weapon damage is identical, but the missile block chance is 5% higher for the Myrmidons. So these units are very similar stats wise. Now the light hoplites have an ability that is quite good, piercing blows. Plus 20% melee armor piercing damage. It's not as good as the whetstones, the Coticule whetstones, the Lusitani whetstones available to the Romans, but at least it's something. Now the Myrmidons are heavy compared to the medium of the light hoplites, and that of course means that the light hoplites are faster. They don't get as heavily penalized in forests, but the Myrmidons are better in the open. Their charge hits harder. They are more resilient to cavalry, especially to cavalry charges. They do more damage when charging enemy infantry, but of course they will have a harder time catching up to them. Which brings me to the next point. The commanders that are best suited to command the Myrmidons into battle. Now, Alexander is one, because Alexander can use his rapid advance to make the Myrmidons faster, and he can of course use his hammer ability to do a lot of damage with them on the charge. So those two abilities are fairly nice with the Myrmidons. If we look at Leonidas, however, Leonidas has some abilities that can make the Myrmidons formidable foes at tier 2. So the push ability. Pushing essentially allows you to move forward and push units back down with the shields, and that can very effectively stop enemy charges. So pushing with Myrmidons can be very effective. You push, you follow up with shield bash, and then you have a unit that can actually do a lot of damage. However, the Myrmidons have a spear. If we look at the Myrmidons, you cannot, I don't know if this is going to get changed at some point, that you can upgrade your units. The premium units, that is, because they start out with Shield of Myrmidon, Thessalian body armor, no greaves, and the Achilles' helm. It doesn't do anything. Whereas their Masterwork Spear has 20 melee attack and 42 melee damage against cavalry. If we look at the stock light hoplites, they have a Brittle Spear, and the Brittle Spear has no associated bonuses. The stats that I read out before were comparing stock light hoplites to Myrmidons. However, I can upgrade my light hoplites. I can give them the Phrygian helmet, I can give them the light linothorax, and I can give them the Hoplon shield. And if we compare their stats now that I've given the light hoplites these things, their base morale is increased by 5. Their armor is increased by 22. Their melee defense is increased by 10. Their weapon damage, nothing happens to it because they don't have an upgrade in terms of that gives them more damage. but their missile block chance increases up to 34. So the Myrmidons, while they offer the Greeks some heavies down in the low tiers, they offer a sturdy defensive infantry unit you can use with Leonidas. You can of course also use them with Miltiades, drop shields, fair. The combination can be very powerful at the low tiers. But my advice regarding the Myrmidons is to not get them. There are better options. For the 2,000 gold you're going to be paying for the Myrmidons, you could convert unit experience into commander experience and use that to level up your commanders or to get more units. So if you spend 2,000 gold for the Myrmidons, that is 20,000 gold you could have converted. And if you look at the prices for some of these units, 20,000 gold would be enough to get you, let's say, 20,000 experience. When you get to tier 7, 20,000 experience would be enough to get you Aspis companions, Scythian horse archers. It would be enough to get you one of these tier 8 units, or indeed it could be enough to upgrade your commander quite a bit. So my advice regarding the Myrmidons, if you have way too much gold on your hands and you just want to try the unit, by all means do so, but it doesn't offer as much as some of the other premium units, and there are some great premium units, but my advice regarding the Myrmidons is to just leave the Myrmidons at home, get out of tier 2 as quickly as you can, because in tier 3 things start getting a bit better for the Greeks, and when you get to tier 4, 5, 6, then the real fun begins. Strength and lore.